something I just want to clarify on yesterday's clip, because I don't know if I actually did a good job of clarifying that or not. I decided to bin all those little short clips I was doing. Reason being was I just quickly went to drop some stuff off, and I was driving around last night, and I was thinking about coming home and recording the first episode, and already I was like, oh god, this is a chore. Even though this is something that I really enjoy doing, right? I was thinking, God, this is a chore. And then had to kind of check myself. I was just like, why is this a chore already? I haven't even started. And it was because I had to, import into this thing, and it, takes all these clips out and all this sort of stuff. And then I was like, well, why am I even doing that? Like, there's a lot of effort, to make sure the clips align and, and trim it and all this, and schedule it. And I was thinking, well, why am I bothering with all of this in the first place? And more so, I remember it was a unit I did in psychology, and they were talking about if someone doesn't tell you explicitly what their intention is, you infer the intent, and then you look at why they're doing it, their motive. And so then I looked at the intent of what that achieves, all those clips, and all it is really a lead magnet and putting the word out there to attract people. And I'm like, well, then I'm full of shit, because in the very first clip that I put up was all about primarily it's for me, and then I'm going, well, if it is really for me, then do it for me. Don't do this for everyone else out there reflecting. And ultimately, like, the person I want to keep most, or that I feel most excited about, I guess, making proud with this is my future self. And that's really cool to look back and be able to reflect on the decisions that I've made along the way as myself when I'm 10 years down the track or 15 years down the track, and look at that and go, man, I'm really proud of the decisions that I made now, And I remember having this little thought a little while ago, being like, we say we can't change the past, and there's some philosophical stuff around that, right? But park that for a second, and I'm thinking, well, if I play my trajectory forward and I don't like that, I've got the opportunity to change the past for the future. And so if I don't like where I'm obviously going to be headed, well, that's great. I've got the opportunity to go back to the present right now and change the past for the future, which is quite a cool concept. And so I think the thing is as well is we all kind of know when we're acting out of alignment, and that's when I was like, I don't want to put I don't want to put all this additional effort in. It's meant to be quick. It's meant to be easy. It's meant to be, I'm meant to be able to do this so that I can also reflect and not spend hours journaling and get my thoughts out, and it still be intentional about what we're doing, and have that moment of reflection. Unfortunately, I do love journaling, and I really, really love long form, and I can genuinely spend hours journaling. And what I was already looking at was, this whole thing. Listen, if it ends up being its own beast, and if it ends up going into some sort of podcast that's monetized or whatever, then sure, there might be an element of marketing involved. But if I'm not interested, I'll just get someone else to do that. I'm not interested in trying to, clip it and lead magnet and hook and all these sorts of crap for this podcast. So primarily it's a dynamic journal. That's really what we're doing. So just wanted to kind of clarify that. And I was like, listen, either I'm doing it for myself or I'm talking shit. And if I'm talking shit, then change. So yeah. So the thing that I kind of left at the end of yesterday's, just looking at my notes, because I've been just kind of taking notes on today, around yesterday, was setting a real clear vision for who... I'm not really good at, there's a few, when it comes to purpose, I've got this cool process to uncover some purpose, and another process to, highlight these values that are kind of buried within us. But when it comes to vision, I don't really have a great formula to follow. So the best thing I can say for me personally, as Billy for Billy, is that I've had this, I reflect back to my mid-teens, and I was like this, where nearly every, and this is no word of a lie, it sounds like an absolute joke, but I kid you not, it's how I lived, was that like everything that I did had intention to it. Like there was nearly no behavior that was just on a whim. Like everything was intentional. And God, I was so disciplined. Hey, so I think that, and not to say that, you know, who I am now I love, and who I'm becoming I really love, and not to say I look over my shoulder at who I was before and wish I'm that guy. That's not the case whatsoever. But I do certainly look back and I go, those are traits that I miss having. You know, I've been working with this mindset coach named Nero. Highly recommend. If anyone wants his contact details, I'm more than happy to give them to you. And one of the things he's been on my case about is that I have a really high value for comfort. And I've just been like, bullshit, bro. Like bullshit. Like I take risks. I work hard. All these sorts of things. And I'm like, that's not comfortable. You know, even this act of like putting myself out there publicly to be vetted, and you know, and that's so uncomfortable. So, but check this out. One thing and this is something that he's kind of taught us, is that, you know, repeated thoughts create stories. Those stories, if you keep telling yourself those stories, create your beliefs, and those beliefs then create your values that you live around. And so, you know, there's aspects of my life where discomfort is something. Like I love being challenged. I love my mindset being challenged. And I love when people pull me up on shit, you know. So, and I like that discomfort, and I like conflict. Conflict's good. Not I don't like aggression. I like conflict. Just as a point of clarification. So here's. So my biggest thing is health, right? I really like the idea of being healthier than I am and fitter than I am, and that's one of those things I just don't put the effort in. And if I really, really valued it, then the truth is I would be acting that way, and I'm not acting that way. So by way of association, that's not really something that I value. That's something that I want to value. And so it's interesting because I've got this, like, my foot's on the accelerator and the brake at the same time, and trying to understand why. And when I think around health, right, I feel like there's this really high barrier to entry for actual health, you know, and anyone who's like it's kind of depressing. Like we're in here we go, right? So here's the stories that I kind of noted for myself. You know, okay, so rainwater is you know, loaded full of PFAs. Oh, excuse that. Loaded full of PFAs, like, you know, the ocean's full of nanoplastics, and, you know, same with tap water, and, you know, and then it's just like all this crap. GM foods are everywhere, and they don't have barely any necessary nutrients. Foods are coated in pesticides and herbicides. You know, fresh foods are often picked early and then left to ripen unnaturally. Animals are pumped with hormones. This is where it gets really frustrating, right? According to some experts who have this proof that they've got, you should only eat vegetables. According to other experts, and again, they've got the same proof and that sort of thing, you should only eat meat. And then, so it's like all this conflicting information, and none of it's helpful. And I'm just kind of going, like, I get to this point where I just go, what's the fucking point? You know, and so like even like so then those are the stories I've been telling myself. The belief is, you know, those stories culminate in this belief that the only way to live healthy is to buy an acreage, grow the food yourself, and control the farming process. Ultimately, right? And unless you're doing this, there's no point trying, because you're only going to be poisoning yourself anyway. Like I can eat meat that's full of shit, or I can eat vegetables that are full of shit, or I can just eat processed shit. It kind of doesn't really matter. And so the value then is comfort, because there's no point putting effort into sacrificing the present discomfort for future health, because any decision I make is going to result in the same outcome, where it'll result in some sort of chronic illness. And it's not lost on me that, you know, like heart health and cancer are rampant, and, you know, and then so that's the I guess the value that I've developed off the stories I've been telling myself. And we're headed down to Esperance with the family over Easter, and I'm meeting up with a guy named Ben. If for those who are familiar with Invictus Clinics, you'll know him, and he is an absolute machine when it comes to the body and health and understanding all that. And excuse me, sorry. So I'm going to hit him with this and just be like, hey mate, like help me unpack this a bit. So I'll let you know how that goes because I'm looking forward to unpacking that. Yeah. So anyway, so I say all that to say that, I'm more than happy to put the hard work in. That's not a problem at all. But to me, it's just like, I'm happy to put the hard work into the business because I can see that there's going to be a tangible outcome. Like if I do this and I learn how to do that, then X equals X. Done. Okay, sweet. Whereas with health, it's like, okay, if I eat the vegetables, then I might feel good now, but I'm pumping body full of toxics that's going to result in cancer later. So it's like, well, what's the point? And I'm curious to see what Ben has to say because he certainly seems like someone he does have a high value for health, and it's exhibited by the way he eats and lives and his exercise, and he's also someone who's very inquisitive and questioning and critical thinking, and so I'm curious to see what he has to say. So I'll ask him if he's cool with me sharing publicly the conversation we have because obviously he has a business to run and part of that is consulting. So with respect to that, my hope is I'll be able to share with you guys the sort of stuff we get to unpack. But one thing I'm going to start doing as of today is So that's the goal, is to really be intentional about my behaviors again and bring them in alignment with the values that I say that I actually live with. So I guess that starts with being intentional about how I'm going to go about my day. So as of today, before I go to bed every night, I'm going to just start planning tomorrow out. So, time blocking, for those who are familiar with time blocking. Even if you look at like SAS and you see a lot of like productivity techniques is around, you have to measure. You can't manage what's not measured. So, so the process of iteration is there's a stimulus, a response, an assessment, and then adjustment if needed. So in this instance, the stimulus would be how I'm going to spend my day. My response is okay, that's me going about doing the thing that I intended on doing. The assessment then is this moment going, okay, well, how did I go? Did I do what I intended on doing? Was my time spent correctly? And then during the course of the day, was I acting in alignment with my values and all these sorts of stuff? And then at the end of the day, kind of assessing that and changing it if necessary. And I've no doubt there's going to be a process of iterating that, how I structure that anyway. Yes, that's kind of picking off the back of yesterday. So spending time with the kids today was really good. Like I think Easter and Easter's great for these moments. Like went to church with everyone this morning. Our 2-year-old, she's learning how to not wee in her knickers. She didn't do a very good job today, but that's okay. So there was a lot of woosah and patience required. But yeah, we came home and my in-laws came around and that was really nice, just hanging out with them. Actually, it's not often they come to our house, and that was really sweet. And kids had a nap, and I went and helped them move real quick, and then I came back and our youngest Eliza, she had a nap, but the other girls were just out playing, and I came home and it was so sweet, just like in the backyard and the kids running around and playing and making stuff out of cardboard. Pro tip for parents, dude, don't buy toys. Don't spend your money on toys. Go to Retrovision and bloody Harvey Norman's and just get boxes, bro. The kids, it's everything. It's a castle, it's a boat, it's a plane, it's a house, it's everything you want it to be. And they just spend hours. Anyway, that's what they were doing. They were just playing with cardboard outside, and Beck was right into it and playing with them. And it was just really it was one of those moments where you just kind of pinch yourself. You're like, as if this is my life. It was really cool. Also, so my auntie, she's a psychologist, and I got to spend a bit of time chatting with her this afternoon and toying with some ideas, some changes that I want to make in the business with respect to getting alignment and synergy across the whole team, up and down. And I've got some pretty cool ideas, scary ideas for sure. But certainly something that I am keen to do. Just requires a little bit of conversation with lawyers and making sure I get things in a row. So I can't really mention anything more. So I would be happy to discuss, but I don't want to say. I think timing's important. That's it. Timing's important. On the work topic, this is actually really cool. I was keen to share this with everyone. I got a message from one of the girls that works with us today, and this is so cool. She said, "Hey Billy, I was thinking at work today how lucky I am to work for you guys. I know when I first started, I had a few attitude problems, and most companies probably would have fired me. I just want to say thank you. I just wanted to thank you for helping me instead of firing me for it. I've learnt so much. Thank you for helping me learn instead of firing me, which would have been completely justified in. I'm completely sorry about my actions in the past. I love you guys, and I hope you're all doing well." Like, that's so cool. And, I was saying to Beck, like, it's really cool because oftentimes you're your own worst critic, right? And it's really cool to receive these messages and just think like, okay, like we're actually doing well, and we've just welcomed back a couple other people that have just joined the team, who used to work with us, and for various reasons don't, and it was really cool that they've reached back out and said, hey, like, is there any positions available? Would you be open to welcoming me back? And and obviously there's always things changing, and absolutely, for a couple of these people, not everyone. There's some people I wouldn't have back in the team, but some people, we're gutted that they left, and they've come back, which is really cool. And I just want to share another message as well, which is really sweet. So one of the girls who works with us, we've just, I guess, promoted her, if you will. And she said, "I really want to thank you for this opportunity. It means a lot to be given these kinds of responsibilities, and I'll be making sure that I can be trusted and depended on for them." And like, I love it. It's a real vote of confidence that, okay, you know what, like, and again, like I mentioned in the episode yesterday, was Richard Branson. How he talks about, serving your team first, and how I look at this and I just go, my team are my customers first, and I serve my customers like they serve the people that we serve as a collective business, and but if my focus is on them, then they, and to give them the resources and empower them and all these sorts, and this is where I'm like, how do I really like nail this synergy and alignment? And that's the part, like, I feel like of any particular skill that I'm lacking, it's the organizational leadership skill of creating that synergy and alignment. And I kind of know where to start. And it's literally only the last few days where I felt like I've been able to really dive back into the business, where, Beck's pretty settled with Sterling now, and getting used to 4 kids. And not to say that I'm absolving myself of the responsibility of helping around the house with that thing, but I certainly have in the last couple of days felt like I've got a bit more capacity to focus on the business again, and that feels really great. So, and the cool part as well, and this is like, I hear a lot of people in hospitality talking about how, like, you can't find good help, and I don't mean any offense from anyone that I've had conversations with recently around this, right? Because like these kids, both of them are under the age of 19, and man, their work ethic and their character, and just, I can't fault them. And that's just where I'm like, it's sure, some people drop the ball. Absolutely, there's some people with poor character. Like, you can't knock that, but then not everyone's like that. So, yeah. Anyway, that's that. So that's today. So tonight I'm going to map out tomorrow, and then tomorrow we'll review it and see how we go. So, cool, guys. Love. See you tomorrow.